Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio. Thank God it's Thursday. Can we start saying that, too? Not really thank God in Kansas City, or at least if you were hoping the Chiefs would pass that tax thing for the Royals as well. It did not pass, and now we'll see if they can call that bluff or not.
Well, I don't think they will, in all honesty. Now, I say they. I'm sure the Chiefs won't. Now, the Chiefs, that's not to say they'll stay there, but, Mike, the lease is until 2031. That's a long way off, and there's plenty of time to reestablish some kind of financing and so forth and so on. But I'm wondering, this might be a new mindset now, not just in Kansas City, but for sports fans across the country. We have been gouged so much by these teams, ticket prices. Now think about this. The ticket prices are astronomical. The parking fees are out of sight. The concession stands, my goodness sake, the prices, you can't afford this. And now we're suddenly being asked to fund new stadiums, or at least partially fund them. And that doesn't make any sense. And the public has finally, I think, reared up and said, hey, enough is enough. We absolutely cannot afford this. Why should it be our money? The money's going to you. What do we get out of this? Rooting for the team? Hey, that's great. That's what it's about, allegiance. But at what cost? There's the key. So you say, well, we'll sit home and watch this on TV. Niet. You're paying for that too, folks, and you're paying prices that are increasing. It's all about money, and until the public gets up on its haunches like a horse and says, no more of this. And I'm wondering if maybe this isn't the dawning of a new era.
We'll see. We will see. But that's how we always say it. If you want things to change, do it with your pocketbook. Speaking of change and the pocketbook, it looks like the Houston Texans are now loaded, my guy.
Well, here they are. They made the playoffs last year, which was a big surprise. And now they have Stephon Diggs from the Buffalo Bills. And that's a big deal because C.J. Stroud, who was a rookie last year, really has a good football acumen about him. And the Houston Texans made the playoffs. Now, they didn't go very far, but they weren't expected to even make the playoffs, let alone be in them. So here they have a great chance to really buck up, so to speak, and become a real full-fledged football team again, and I think they will. Now, the problem is that Diggs is 30 years old, is a four-time Pro Bowl All-Star. Does he have anything left in the tank? The Buffalo Bills don't seem to think that he fits into their scheme, but the Houston Texans do, and if he does, watch out, they can be pretty good.
You are right about that, and we will definitely be seeing them down the road, I have a feeling. So, any more word on Rashee Rice in that situation?
Well, apparently he has now met with police authorities, and he is, I think, showing some remorse for what happened, has sympathy for the injured victims, and he says, and the police say, he's been cooperating. But to what extent? And Mike, he still fled the scene along with the other people who were involved. Apparently, it was Rice who was driving the Lamborghini and not the Corvette that was apparently thought to be his vehicle. Whatever, I think the details will come out, but the fact of the matter remains, thank goodness nobody was seriously injured. It still does not mitigate the fact that they left the scene of an accident, and folks, that is a felony.
So the Western tour for the St. Louis Cardinals has finally come to an end. They're headed back home. How do you think they did overall?
Well, they win 3 and lose 4, and that's, I think, a little bit better than most people thought they would. After all, the Cardinals were 20 games below 500 last year, and you open up with the Dodgers, followed by the San Diego Padres. Well, Padres aren't as good as the Dodgers. There's just no doubt about that. And the Cardinals did take 2 out of 3. But did lose a game yesterday that was bothersome. Cardinals had a chance to win it 3-2, had the tying run on second base in the 9th inning with 1 out, and still couldn't bring it around. Now keep in mind the Cardinals are fragmented. A lot of their key players are injured. Pitchers are injured. They're getting pretty good pitching, but they're still not really They're not really a unit yet. They will be a little bit later on, and who knows what they'll be. Now, the Cardinals do come home. They open up this afternoon in St. Louis. Tomorrow's an off day, just in case there's going to be a weather problem, which evidently there is not going to be. So it'll be the Cardinals and the Miami Marlins, and they play at Busch Stadium in St. Louis for the opener this afternoon. Tomorrow off, and then Saturday and Sunday play. So welcome back baseball to Missouri. in the eastern part of the state.
Yes, sir. The Royals also were out east in Baltimore facing off with the Orioles. How'd they conclude that series?
Had a chance to win the game, led in the ninth inning 3-2, lost it in the ninth inning 4-3. And I think that speaks volumes about the Kansas City team. They're still young. They are coming together. They out-hit Baltimore in this game 10-6. And Baltimore is a real hard-hitting baseball team, a long ball hitting team. But Kansas City loses the game. I'll take Kansas City as a very good pitcher. He threw yesterday. That's Cole Raggins. They got him from the Texas Rangers last year. He pitched well. Bullpen did not pitch well. The Royals come right back home tonight to play the Chicago White Sox up at Kauffman Stadium. I think Kansas City, as we've mentioned, I think they have a better team this year. I think they'll be competitive, but probably not at a championship level yet.
It's unfortunate when you lose those ones that go that long. I hate to see that. How many games are there in the National Hockey League season remain for the Blues right now?
Well, there's 82 games in the season, and the Blues have 7 remaining. And as we speak, the Blues are not in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but they are very close to being there. There are 2 wild card teams in each conference, and the Blues play in the Western Conference. They are 3 points, that's all, 3 points out of gaining a playoff spot. They're chasing the Los Angeles Kings. Well, the Kings, only 3 points ahead, are not playing very well, and the Blues, who are inconsistent, can play well. Blues play tonight in Nashville against the Tennessee team. But the fact of the matter remains that with 7 games remaining, you've got to win. You've got to take the advantage of the breaks. And whether or not the Blues can do that, well, we have about a week and a half to find out.
Fingers crossed, and hopefully they can play some Gloria down the road. Ned, I will see you mañana.